week. The problem with Hobart, though, is the buying conditions. And I'll give you an example. So we're in Sunny Bay here, as of today. My friend up the road, Ben Vance, is a real estate agent. Okay, he's on the dark side, he's a sales agent. Down the road that way is Taroona, about 2 kilometres. The suburb median in Taroona is $950,000. It was a 3-bedroom, unrenovated home on 800 square metres. It was a battle axe internal block surrounded by properties. You know, it was 300 metres to the waterfront, the beach, but it didn't have water views. It was generally average for the suburb. Slightly larger block size, slightly lower, average condition. It was the average for the suburb. 950,000 was the suburb median. Now, the level of buying demand into Hobart, they were able to say offers over $950,000, and they constructed a Dutch auction type scenario where there was masses of people through. I think it was 120 parties through that open home. It was phenomenal. There were dozens of offers on the table come Monday morning, and you've got to lead forth with your best offer first. There's no negotiation, because that's people can see everyone at the open home, and then they know that they've got to be making an offer. It has to be their best foot forward. So then they're all going forth on Monday morning. They've got no feedback, no market feedback, and they are leading forth with their highest best offer first. Now, it was reported back to me there was a cluster of offers, from 900 up to 1.1 million on that property, like dozens of offers. And there was one offer, so the second highest offer was 1.1 million, and the winning offer was 1.3 million cash, no terms on the contract. There was a gap in that market created of, just under 20%, a huge leap up with no market feedback or dynamic. And that is not a market. Obviously, it's moving very quickly in one direction. There's many stories that I've been exposed to over time in Hobart that are very similar. That is not a market that we can operate as investors. Okay, there's gaps forming that need to be infilled, and then they'll re-gap and then infill. We don't want to be involved in that conversation, because you can't work out what is fair market value. You can't do your assessments around value. You can't negotiate effectively, and then your yields are compressed through this market dynamic. We want to step ahead. Every man and his dog knows that Hobart and Brisbane are doing well, and the indications are that they will continue to do so. But it's not an environment where we can get fair market assessments of value, and we'll have to step way out on a ledge, set records to buy and acquire properties. We prefer to go into areas, as you all know, where we can control the dynamic, where we've got, hand on heart, just as reliable, places like Toowoomba, just as reliable, same size, just as reliable indications of strong and imminent growth. The signals are there. The data is similar in the two locations, but we can control the market dynamic more to our advantage. Not so really much anymore in Toowoomba, the odd deal here and there, but we really have moved on from there. The market's sort of turning to Hobart in some ways, but we want to get in just slightly earlier. That's probably the whole idea. Hopefully that answers your question. Peter's just made another point there around the TAS Uni real estate when I was last year. Look, it put a pause on that. TAS Uni is obviously moving to the CBD campus. They've bought up a lot of commercial properties there. A lot of it's been laying vacant. It's really concerning when universities go from the education game into the property speculation game, which the TAS Uni did. And now you've got this wonderful campus down in Sunny Bay with a nice big sports ovals and things. They got greedy and moved into the CBD. That's potentially going to be laid vacant. That might introduce a lot of supply to the area if it's subdivided and broken up. We don't know yet. Ultimately plans can change. But if anything, the uni's already here. It already attracts a lot of international students. I can remember a few years ago, what was it? There was 5% per month. Sorry, 5% extra tenants coming into the market per month from overseas that were adding to the people looking to find properties. It was just phenomenal. It was like every month, if there's 30,000 tenants in Hobart, there was 5% more the next month that were looking for properties. It was just over and over. It was just a backlog, and that's why, you know, the Uni of Tassie went and bought all of the commercial hotels and properties in Hobart. They built all these towers, you know, 5 or 6 story towers, and they were putting, you know, residential, tenant-based accommodation into the city because of the backlog. And that's just not there at the moment with COVID. They've already built a lot of that property, so it's sort of there already. They have bought a few other commercial dwellings that they're sitting on. I don't know if that's going to be the key driver, Peter, but you know, it could be part of the conversation. It's going to be definitely one to watch. What is the core driver? Is mainlanders moving here as a safe haven? It is weathered COVID. An example of that is a report I heard a couple of weeks ago. For a government position, we were getting, you know, government's very rigid in their, qualifications. When you're a level, I don't know what the levels are, when you're a level 7, you are a level 7, and then you get a promotion and you work 3 or 4 years for it and you become a level 8. Then you work another 3 or 4 years and you become a level 9. Very rigid in their, role definitions and their pay grades. We were getting a very basic job down at the Antarctic Division here in Hobart. It was actually in Kingston. Here at a level, for example, I don't know the number, a level 7, we were getting 2 senior pay grades above that, applying to take 2 demotions from Canberra and Sydney, Melbourne, coming down to apply for that position. So I heard that from the person who was vacating the role. So that gives you some idea about how keen people are in high paid jobs to move to Hobart. And that's what is driving the property price growth. And I don't think it's going to slow down. You know, the writing's on the wall, and the brand Tasmania is very strong.